Okay, man, I am looking a little scruffy. It's been a long time since I've talked to all of you, but I think I have a lot to say. Hopefully, it doesn't take like a whole hour to do it. The title of this video is called Yeah, TED Talk, You Broke Me. Okay, so I don't know what number video this is. This could be fourth or fifth. It's been a long time since I talked to all of you. I've been on this Bradford World Tour, and I don't know how you music celebrities or celebrities do these world tours. It's a lot. I have really learned a lot about who I am as a person. I have been to conferences. Of course, I've revised and redefined what my TED Talk is, which is what we're going to talk about now. But it's gone through a major shift, especially from what I've talked about from the very beginning of what you all have seen. Again, I'm not trying to give everything away. There were some big revelations, especially as I was ready to go on my way to Canada for a conference that I was preparing for. I am going to start off with a quote, and this quote, yes, is from the one and only Beyonce, but I think it's going to make sense as I'm telling my story of everything that's happened from my last video. So, and there is a reason for this because I think it aligns with with how I feel and where I'm at in my own personal journey. Innovation starts with a dream, but then you have to execute that dream, and that road can be very bumpy. Being an innovator is seeing what everyone believes is impossible. Being an innovator often means being criticized, which often will test your mental strength. Being an innovator is leaning on faith and trusting that God will catch you and guide you. My hope is that we're more open to joy and liberation that comes from enjoying art with no preconceived notions. I want to dedicate this award to all the innovators who have dedicated their lives and their art to creating shifts. So thank you for your sacrifices, your powerful voices, and your dauntless spirits. Thank you to so many more who defied any label placed upon them. So that was an award that she got for being innovator at I believe, the iHeart Music Awards. But I think that transcends to where I'm at in this journey. So the last time we chatted, again, I was working on revising my TED Talk document and really digging into where I was. The issue behind where I was at that moment was we were listening to all the TED Talks and getting feedback. And I don't know if I said it in the last one or not, but there was a talk that really hit home with me, and I don't want to give that one away because it really sat with me. And I was like, oh my God, I want to reveal something. I want to reveal something. I want to reveal something. But the group I felt like was too big to reveal. And I think it really wasn't the time yet, but I was really holding something in. But then it was my turn to talk. And I think when I gave my own talk, it still had a lot of different voices going from left to right. There was something that was there, and there was something that needed to be said, and I still couldn't say it. And there were some people in that room just were at that point where they were just saying, you know what, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. I really struggled with that, and that was a big problem. I know sometimes I'll make this face. I think I may have talked about it in the other talk where I just internalize certain things, and I'm just taking what they're saying and I'm trying to figure out how I can go to that next level. I thought about that. I did write some more things down, but then it was at that moment where it still wasn't clicking, and I kind of had to somewhat semi-close shop because I had to head out to go to Canada for my own presentation that I was delivering over there. So I had another project that I had to close down here, and then the mini TED Talk revision that I had to do here. So it was like, okay, you have to shut so many things down here so you can be able to prepare and head out there. And what some of you guys don't know is that that was on a wing and a prayer. I almost didn't make it to Canada. I'm dealing with finances and just figuring out like when my passport was coming in and all those things. Everything was just very last minute. It wasn't just me being lazy, just things are the way they are with my finances, and then working, trying to find employment and all those things. Things were just really there, and it was a Bradford, are you gonna go? Are you gonna not gonna go? And me and my wife are going back and forth. We weren't fighting or anything like that, but it's like, my wife is very supportive of things like that. And it's not that I don't want you to go. It's more of like, can we make this work? And she's been so supportive of it. This needed to happen for me. I needed to make this leap to go for myself. So by the grace of God, everything came together and I went. And I will tell you, closing a lot of, like me closing down for like 3 or 4 days, I needed to do that to go onto this trip to prepare for that presentation. And I just kept talking to my wife about things that were going on as I was preparing for the trip. You know how those things where you feel like things are always coming up against you for you not taking on that next step, like just little things like, okay, we got to get up early to get to this place, or go here, go there. Like, this is my first time doing something internationally. I've never even I've been out of the States and whatnot, but I've never done anything internationally. Just me getting off the plane. And one of the things that I told my wife and a couple friends when I got back, but I told my wife first, I said, one of the things that I am enjoying right now is spending that time with myself. Usually when I'm going somewhere to a conference, I'm going for somebody else. I'm going for somebody else's initiative. I'm going for somebody else's goal. And I made people laugh because I'm always doing the whole Home Alone run where you're trying to make it to another destination. I'm running really fast, but this time felt different. I was at peace and I was walking. I got to where I need to be at on time, and I'm not rushing for anybody. Why? Because I'm going for myself. I have nobody to set a standard to. I'm going on my own standards, and I'm just those little trams, those little escalator thingies, sidewalk thingies. I mean, I was laughing because I'm like, I'm just taking my time. There's no rush. Who am I rushing for? This is all me. My next destination is Canada. I'm not there to see anybody. I'm there to present something of my own work. This is me. And I'm like, this feels good. I'm not here for somebody else's agenda. I'm not here for my own agenda on top of an overall umbrella agenda, which is so nice. That really made me reflect a lot. Going to that conference, which was about serious play, totally changed my trajectory on what I want to do. Maybe not necessarily a career, but just in general of like where I want to go next. And it's all about being a designer. I'm an instructional designer, and it's one of those things I finally said out loud. This is who I am. And when I'm going to different presentations, sometimes when you go to presentations, you're like, oh man, I got to change this because I got to edit this happened, and I messed this up. For me, my presentation, I'm going to say, was 90 to 95% done. However, every time I kept going to a different presentation, these ideas kept sparking, and I was on this, I don't know, natural high that I just wanted to just keep adding more and adding more and adding more, just to get my point across and my identity of who I am across. And it came out very well. A lot of people saying, yeah, every time I saw you in a session, you're always working. And it wasn't because I was last minute trying to get things done. It's just that every session had such great impact, such great ideas. That's something that I really wanted to add in there that was very relatable. When it was time to present my presentation, I was nervous. I hadn't presented in a long time. And this is the first time, honestly, that I presented something that this is totally my work. This is something that came from me. I I didn't get feedback. Well, I got feedback from my mentor, but this is something that was literally coming from the ground up from Bradford. And I was really amazed at how well it was received, that I got pulled to the side about information about how we can connect. How could this happen? How can we do this? How can we do that? And I was going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is what's going on. And so many people had so many great ideas, and just being in these think tanks and this processes and people listening to what I had to say, and I'm representing myself because people ask, well, who are you? Not where do you work for, or what or where are you at. They wanted to know more of what do you do, what is your skill set. It wasn't so much about where do you work, what is your job. It's more of what is your skill set, what do you bring to the table, which was very refreshing. So I enjoyed every minute of that. Well, flash forward to it's time to go home. I enjoyed my time there. This is all connecting, I promise you. I'm able to check my email on the plane, and my my TEDx coach just happened to email me saying, I know this is last minute, but can we meet? And I looked at it and going, well, I'm glad I saw this. I'm just coming back from Canada. We can meet Friday, no problem. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I just don't feel like doing it. But something told me, you know what, let's do it. Let's knock it out. And so we finally met, and we knew it was last minute. I read it was more of a smaller group. Well, actually, it was just me and my coach and another advisor. And I read the script. Still wasn't kicking. Still wasn't working. There was something missing. And I could tell they were like looking and going, there's still something that's not there. You're meandering. You're going here. You're going there. There's something that you're not saying. There's something that you're not doing. You're still not making those connections. And finally, I will tell you, as I sat down, and they weren't coming at me hard. It was feedback that I needed to hear. But finally I said, you know what? I need to tell you all something. And I feel like you need to hear this. They finally said, okay, well, you know what? Let's turn the cameras off. Let's turn the recording off. And so I'm not going to get into full detail with what I said. Maybe I will. I don't know how I'm going to phrase this, but I let it just all out. I said, here's what you don't know about what's been going on behind the scenes, not with this TED Talk, but just everything that leading up to this point. The first thing I said was, this TED Talk is hard. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I did not know that a TED Talk was about you. This is getting into a vulnerable place where you are the subject matter expert, and you are telling it like it is, and you're giving a call to action, so to speak. I'm not used to doing that. I'm more used to giving to others, give. Here's this, here's that, and no, it's okay. And then I think of myself last, at least from the work lens, if that makes sense. I will never forget, a friend of mine always says, you know, you let people take your power. You know, you don't let people take away your power. Every space that you're in, you let people take away your power. Don't let people take away your power. And so I didn't tell them that. I'm telling you all that now. I just said somewhere those things along the lines where I'm just so used to giving to others and not expecting things in return. And I just broke down. And I said, with this, the struggle was really talking about myself and not realizing that, you know, I have all of these accolades. I'm doing all these great things, but it's hard to talk about those things without people giving that look of, oh, what does he think he's doing? Or where is he coming from? Without saying, okay, well, I'll talk about me for like 2 seconds, but let me talk about what this great group is doing over here, to kind of cover it up. And so I just started I'm bawling because I'm like, this is new. And then behind the scenes, there's personal, financial, there's all this other stuff that's going on that's weighing me down. And it was team too much. And I think that's what hit. And when one of the person giving the TED talk related to what I was going through, and I'm like, I didn't expect all of this. And the whole session ended up being like 2 hours. It was really like therapy. I told my coach, like, my coach, we've been through all these conversations, you know this, but I didn't tell you everything. And I'm finally revealing this is what's going on because I've just kept this up for so long that when I finally went to Canada, when I realized this is you, this is nobody else, this is what you're about, this is not what anybody else is about. And then you come here and now you read this, it's very stale and it doesn't work because it's no longer relatable. After you come from a 3-day trip where it's all about you, and then now you read this, it doesn't work. And so they gave me some ideas. Of course, they counseled me and supported me, and they talked about making sure that I'm concise and I have an outcome all the way through. And they talked about a thorough line and all of those things. And they make sure that I'm reading a couple of articles and chapters that relate to a TED Talk. Let me take a step back and figure this out. And so I did. And then I volunteered for a Black is Tech. And then I'm moving there. I'm doing all of these things. And so things started connecting. I'm starting to feel things. I'm starting to reflect on what I've been doing for these past couple of weeks. And then I start going back and looking at my statement. And I may be messing up my timelines here because the next time that we were supposed to meet was when was from that meeting again. So ignore the timelines. You kind of get where I'm going. So from that meeting, I said, okay, I can only meet for so long. I will be at a different location, but I'll be ready. What I did from there was I took everything that was said. I listened to the feedback. I really thought about the emotional turmoil, the stuff that I just put out there after that talk beforehand and what my coaches were talking about. And I just said, okay, Brad, let's really look at this again. Say what you need to say. You've been through this experience. No one else has been through the experience. Paint the picture for them and let them know this is what the call to action needs to be. So that's what I did. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Here's what it is. And so I really felt inspired by people who have been around me for all these years, especially from where I'm at right now. And I said what I said in my revision. And the funny thing is that while I'm talking to you in this space, I have multiple monitors and I can see people's reactions as I'm reading my talk. For example, I'm looking at the one monitor right now where I can see my talk, and I'm looking at another monitor where I could possibly see somebody just, kind of looking and critiquing or doing whatever. This time, what I have done is, number one, I've taken my document and I've put it through an AI that I purchased and let it sit and read it back to me very natural like. I've turned it into an MP3, and before I got into that meeting and I was driving downtown, I listened to it like 3 or 4 times just to get it in my head, just to hear it. The AI is natural as it is, it's still not as natural, but you can feel it, you can listen to it, you can get it in you. And so now it was time for the meeting, and I don't have those monitors anymore. I just have my laptop. I'm trying to connect as much as possible, but it's hard to connect when you're in a different area and you're not in your own environment. So I'm like, okay, you're ready? Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And I read it, and I read it with as much passion as I possibly could. It wasn't memorized by any means, but it was very different. And then when I stopped, I think everybody was quiet. Now I will say there's some things that I need to tweak, but everybody's mouths just dropped. Oh my God, from the last time we talked with you, you did some work in a matter of just a couple of days. Thank God for tech. That's all I gotta say is thank God for tech. From where I started this journey, to where it was now, I felt like I needed to have that, I'm sorry, that emotional breakdown to say, this is what I've been going through. This is what's been happening to me. I've had almost a year of hell of what I've gone through because of things of X, Y, Z. And I want to talk about it in my paper, but it's bigger than me. It's what's happening now. And it's what I'm a part of, and it's what a lot of people I know are a part of. And I think now they could feel it, and they could picture it, and they could see it. And then when this is a completely different Bradford talk, it's still on the lines of what you want to say, but now you definitely are saying it, and you're making those connections from beginning to middle to end. There's some things that you still need to tweak a little bit, but it's a drastically different paper. And I said, and I finally told the group, I had an emotional journey. I had to step away from the paper. I went to Canada. I presented on a topic. I broke down in a smaller session with my coach and another person, and it's what I needed to go. It's what I needed to go through in order for this, I guess, to happen. And so that's what I'm here to tell you now. We, by the time you probably see this, it'll be a month before it's time to present this talk. And now I've got to memorize all of this. So I'm so glad that my coach gave me that, okay, we need like one more before it's time for you to like really start to sit and memorize this, because the next speaker circle that I have is that I have to do this off the books, which I'm very nervous about. So that's why I'm glad I have it through the MP3 so I can practice and practice and practice. August has been my self-discovery journey of celebrating who I am, where I'm at, and where I want to be and where I want to get to. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I think you guys are going to be amazed at what I have to say. You'll probably have some questions, but you'll feel like, yes, that's what Bradford, that's definitely Bradford. And again, with all the other talks as well, you'll be definitely amazed at hearing what they have to say. This is happening in October. I don't know if I'm going to do another one of these videos. I'll probably do maybe one or two more, at least one more. I just wanted to share definitely where I'm at in this journey. Again, I am just really happy at where I'm at right now. I'm at peace. I'm learning more about myself and where I want to go, what I want to be, what I will tolerate and what I will not tolerate with myself and with others. But again, this has been a self-therapeutic journey, and I'm really excited. Stay tuned, keep watching, keep following me for more info with my TED Talk journey, with my innovative stuff that I'm doing, and there's more to come. So talk to you soon.